odd reason. Is it? Taking a while. It's just starting, yeah. Let's see. I think I got a message from. Did I get a message from? No. Okay. So it's having trouble downloading, but the bottom line is, just think about the number of years you worked on a project, 52 weeks or 40 hours across however many years, and before you know it, you've documented all that you need to. So
there is a handy spreadsheet that PMI has as part of your application for the exam, so that it'll kind of walk you through how you do it. You want to look at the 5 different process groups up top and say, hey, in executing I've done this, or initiating I've done that. What I did is I looked at all the different projects I had, put hours in there, and within development, there's a lot of key things that are proprietary. We don't want to talk to the public about even the name of our project, because you don't want the corporate spies to find out and someone else to come up to first. I just called it Project A, Project B, Project C on my application, and that's perfectly acceptable because they understand that you're going to have to maybe modify it a little bit, genericize it a little bit. Anything that you put in there might be verified. So your application may be audited for truth. What I did is I had my actual hours with my real project name, and then I had a column that said this is what I called it for my application. And I gave that to my boss. So they ask for your boss's name when you do your application, and that way my boss would have the sheet in front of him saying, hey, did this person really do this on Project B for this many hours? My boss could pull up and say, yeah, Project B is, PLPS. Yes, that was true. And be able to relate it back to real world pretty quickly. I personally did not get audited.
I've gone through like 1 or 2 supervisor changes the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be your supervisor at the time?
It's your supervisor at the time, but let's say, for example, that you had some stuff from 2 and 3 years ago that today's supervisor doesn't know about. You can just let them know, or if those other people are still around, say, hey, this is what I was working on, let them know that this might be coming up. You can let your current supervisor know, well, if you need to talk about this, talk to Joe Smith and talk to Jane Doe. If those people aren't with the company anymore, maybe they've retired, your supervisor might have to take you on your word, but chances are you're working there, you're a person in good standing, so they're not going to really question what you've done.
very good. So that's the sheet that Maita created, and a lot of people have used this sheet to get PMP certified, a ton of people. So what we have here are the start and finish dates. If you plug that in, that will calculate the number of days. There's a formula, as you can see, D4 divided by 7, number of weeks, E4 times 40. So if you got this amount of weeks and you got 40 hours, and then how much time did you spend on each project? Well, that's 75% of your time, so you can multiply it by 0.75, and it gives you a number which you then further multiply by how much time was spent in initiating. 15%, 25% in planning. So you're just multiplying this number by however much time you spent in initiating, planning, executing, and then you end up getting the breakdown, and then you just need to type in 55 characters, not words, characters. So if you type in 555 characters, that's all PMI is looking for, and they want you to break it down by initiating, what did you do, planning, what did you do, executing, what did you do. But the summary to your question is you don't necessarily have to have been PM. You needed to have done project management related work. Now, I have had an application rejected by the PMI in the past, personally. It was in the world of Agile, by the way. And PMI said, yeah, just because you wrote test scripts or you wrote a use case does not constitute project management. That is more like the technical work that you're doing on the project, but the project manager is the person making sure the schedules are being obeyed, managing conflict and constraints, and You know, so there's a difference between being an engineer, right, designing a product versus the management of the process. You get what I mean? So just keep that in mind. If you stay on the management piece, you'll be fine. And that's what Sandra and I are going to show you guys.